What's going on, everyone? It's time to talk about the final film in the Universal Classic Monsters classic era. Yeah, I have the box set, so I've been reviewing every single movie in there as I worked through it, and now we reached a milestone. We're on the number 30 something review, the last one for the Universal Classic Monsters one, and this one is considered one. It's in the box set, so I'm just going to throw it in there. And that is Universal's remake of Phantom of the Opera from 1943. It was released by Universal August 12th, 1943. Written by Eric Taylor and Samuel Hoffenstein. Produced by George Wagner and directed by Arthur Lubin, who's also done films like Francis, Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, Francis in the Navy, Lady Godiva of Country, yeah, and a couple other films and stuff. It's at a box office of $1.6 million, so it was like a moderate success, I think, back in the day. I think that's what they would consider that now. Anyways, so Phantom of the Opera. Most people know this, but it was originally a play in the late 1800s, I think, and then it was adapted to a screenplay in the 1920s, and it was released as a silent film, a highly successful one. And this, I think, is like one of the first remakes of it. Um, yeah, and Universal tried their hands at it. So could it top Lon Chaney's um, over exaggerated, crazy facial expressions and great monster design in it? Well, somewhat. Uh, yeah, so Phantom of the Opera. It's a pretty simple story. It's at the Paris, takes place at the Paris Opera House, and opera's going on. There's a young conductor who wrote a new piece, and he's trying to sell it and get it published. And someone else likes it but wants it for themselves, so they try to steal it. He comes across and tries to get it back and prevent them from doing that, and gets acid in the face, which severely deforms him. So he has to wear a mask, and he goes. And then it turns out that the person who's using his piece is the conductor at the Paris Opera House. So he goes on a rampage, killing spree, and causing mayhem at the opera house during the opera, and wants to avenge his piece. But he also has a love interest with one of the lead singers, and yeah, so he's also trying to vow to her and get her to believe him. So it's a more of a drama film of horror elements mixed into it, and it's good. There's a lot of opera in this, so if you're not a huge fan of opera, this might be a little off-putting. And there's some good little humor bits sprinkled into the story, I thought, and the acting was fantastic. Cinematography is really good. This is one of the first like Universal movies that came out in color, as far as I'm aware, and it looks really good. And but yeah, there's definitely a lot of drama in opera. The characters are so well fleshed out, though. There's ones you're gonna like and dislike, which is good. Good equal balance to that. But yeah. But when it comes to like the kills, obviously they're all off screen. You couldn't really show kills in the 1940s very much. So, but yeah, but there's some pretty big sets in this film, and especially down the dungeon near the end when it collapses after they take care of the Phantom. But yeah, and the makeup looks pretty decent, I thought, for the era, and it's definitely one of the more iconic shots of the film. But yeah, the overall though, I thought the film was decent, but it's a little slow, especially for the first half. And you don't really get any of the horror elements till near the end, which is fine. But yeah, there is some cool scenes though, like when the Phantom cuts down the chandelier and it falls right onto the crowd and stuff. There's some pretty cool effects for that era there, and it's definitely a fun, decent remake. It's very close to the original film, and I think the play screenplay, even though I haven't really looked at that. But as far as I'm aware, it's still a good, decent remake. But this is more for like the drama lovers who's not huge in the horror. This might be a good stepping stone to get into it. But if you're not into like opera music and stuff, it might be a little off-putting. So, but Yeah, still, I enjoyed it. I think it's a decent film, but it might not be for certain people, and I don't know if it's really for some people these days. So, but at the time, I'm sure it's one of the biggest things going. So, definitely a fun little film with a lot more dramatic scenes in it, and then actual focusing on the horror, which is different. But yeah, it's always good to see something different. So yeah, but that's it. That's what I think of this film. I'm gonna give Phantom of the Opera, the 1943 remake from Universal, a 4 out of 5. Only because I found it to be a little slow, especially for the first half, and I was hoping for a little more horror-ish stuff. But with the little bits that we get, it's still pretty decent and pretty well done. So yeah, but if you had never realized this film was released, or if you want to relive it, there's a trailer link down below. Like always, also link down below is my Instagram. That's where I was post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story. Shout out the film title and hashtag and the subgenre film hashtag, so you're aware of it. Also down below is my Letterbox at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the films. Like this video, share it so more people are aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. Let me know what your favorite Universal Classic Monster film is if you have one. And also, if you have any films or film franchises that I want to hear my opinions on, comment those down below too. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. I'll watch any genre, so don't worry about that. But yeah. But that's it for this one. Make sure you subscribe because hopefully we find something weird, obscure, and odd together that you probably never thought of checking out, or so you hear my opinions on popular films or classic films like this one. And also make sure you ring that bell because we're going to go into more. I'm going to go explore Shudder and see what's on there. I heard of a interesting indie film called Darling. I think that might be the next review, but we'll see. Stay tuned, ring that bell, and watch out for all the phantoms lurking in the theaters these days, and I guess I'll see you all in the next one. So till then, cheers.